Week 6, so at the end of this we will have 3/4 done. I've added all the written information for this week as well as the steps into the checklist. So if you downloaded the link to those in week 1 and if you go to them now, then you can follow along with me. If you didn't download them, then you can do that by going to the description of this video and signing up for them there. The Kindle version of the written document is also available for anyone who prefers that over a PDF. The Kindle version can also work on an iPhone and an Android phone. Unfortunately, Amazon won't allow me to put it on there for free, so it will be the lowest price that is possible given the size of the document. Just a reminder of why I'm teaching you everything that I know that I do for my clients that works. It's because I want to pay forward the help that was given to me in the past. If you have been finding these videos useful, then please like the videos. Also, please share them with any business owners you know who have a local business where they want people from their local area, or anyone who has an online store. You never know how useful they might find it too. So a summary of week 5, we were preparing your site for the vital on-site SEO. We're really not going to need most of these things until next week, so you've got another week really to make sure that you can get all of this done if you haven't already done it already. But we will be using a part of what the SEO plugin or the SEO functionality this week, because I'll be showing you some SEO titles and descriptions and what you can put in there for some of the critical pages. But anyway, last week we covered SEO plugins, the other website settings, your blog design and blog links around the site, the theme pages and posts, and also how to scrape your site to get all the content. So look, if you've had any problems with doing any of that, make sure to put some questions in the YouTube videos or send me an email. A reminder again of how much time you would like to invest in SEO and what kind of value that's going to bring to your website. So if you are able to do 2 hours a week, then effectively you're investing $1,000 a month of SEO into your website. In a competitive industry where you have more than 10 people competing for your keywords, you may need to do SEO for like 2 to 4 hours a week forever. But in a non-competitive industry where you've got less than 10 people competing for your keywords, then you can get away with a lot less time investment, and you could even possibly stop SEO at some point in time and see how you go, and then maybe restart it again, or maybe just spend 1 month out of every year doing some extra SEO on your site. So in week 6, I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I have a client where I have to recover their website. So that's like about 20 hours of work for me this week. So we're going to do a faster one where I'm going to run through it more like a webinar. And so I won't have all the editing bits that normally has in it, but it's still going to have, all the information that you need. And this one is a shorter week anyway. So enjoy that. Okay, so in week 6, what we're going to be looking at is the layout, the layout of your navigation on your website. So a basic layout that you see for a local business would usually have like the home, the about page, the FAQ page, a services page with all the different service pages that drop down from that, a blog, and a contact. And then on an online store, you would have a home page, the shop, and then all the categories, and then often an about, FAQ, blog, login, and cart tabs. So the other kind of tabs that you could also have on a local business might be a quote or estimate, our team, testimonials. You might have a locations tab to show the different locations that you cover. On an online store, you might have recipes, shipping, refunds, and also a contact. So there could be other tabs that I haven't listed here that you will have. But what I'm going to do now is just go through these main ones and the kind of things that you should have on them. So on the About page, now the About page doesn't need to be optimized for keywords. Okay, The only thing that you really want on there is the business name and the word about or about us. Because people very rarely ever search for information about a business. They don't go about Joe's Plumbing. They might search for testimonials about the company, but they just don't ever search for the word about and then a company name. But the about page is really, really, really important because it can make a huge difference to the number of people that actually contact you. So it's really critical to increase conversions. So the SEO title on your about page is usually going to be about and then your business name, or about us and then the business name. So like I said, you want to avoid adding keywords into the SEO title. We don't want the keywords in the SEO title because if people search for your main keywords, what we want them to go to the home page or the service or product pages. We don't want them to go to the about page. They do not care about you until they know if you can help them with your products and services. Then once they know that you can help them, that's when they're going to go to the about page and try and find out more about you. So bad SEO titles for the about page would be, maybe some of the keywords that you're trying to rank for. So if you're a tiling company and you're trying to rank for Tiling Company London or Tiling London or Buy Tiles, you just don't want people to be taken to the about page. You don't want to have your main keyword like Massage Therapist Toronto in the SEO title for the about page. You want that in the home page or a service page. If you choose to put these keywords in the about page, then what can happen is that Google will rank that about page and it can rank it instead of the home page. And the reason why is because the about page often has a lot of written content on it. However, from my experience, it will always rank you lower than what it would rank your home page. So it chooses to rank the about page, but it actually ranks it lower. So how do I know this? Well, because in the beginning when I was doing SEO, I tried adding keywords to clients' about pages. And unfortunately what happened was that Google started to rank the about page instead of the home page or a service page, but it ranked them lower and they lost traffic. So I had to change it around and take all the keywords out. So what does that say? So whenever I see the about page ranking for my clients, I go in and I remove any keywords so that their home and service page can rank instead, and it will always rank higher. Okay, so in Google search results, this is what you would see: about us and then the business name. And then you're going to see the meta description. So what that actually looks like in the back end of most different CMSs is most CMSs will have somewhere where you can create the SEO title and description. So in there you put about us, the business name, and then your meta description. So that's how you get the SEO title. And the about page is one of the most popular pages for people to go to once they've already reached the website. So they land on your website on some other page, and then the next page that they go to is the about page. So I need to emphasize that. People will search in Google and find your website through various keywords. At this stage, they're going to land on a website service page or a blog post or a product page. So now they know that the business provides a service or product they're looking for, but they don't know anything about your business. They don't know who you are, what you stand for, what your philosophies and values are. Now, some people will contact you without going to the about page, but other people, because they feel that they don't know anything about your business, never heard of it, so the next page they go to is the about page to decide if they want to contact you. So we've all heard that people need to know, like, and trust you before they want to buy from you. So the about page, this is your opportunity to create that know, like, and trust feeling. So what you want to put on your about page is what the business stands for, what's its philosophy, who are the people in the business, what's their experience, why you started the business, when the business started and the benefits of that, and any charities or organizations that you support, etc., etc. So it needs to be about you and the people in your business. The about page isn't usually where you're going to put about our products and services. It's not about what you're actually providing for them. It's about you and your philosophy and what you stand for, so that potential clients can feel they trust your business and feel some sort of connection to you and what you stand for. So I hope that makes sense with regards to the About Us page, sort of the purpose and what you want to put on that. So the next page I want to run through is the FAQ page. So again, this page is not a page that people really search for. However, they may search for answers to questions that are on that page. So the SEO title is fine if it's FAQs and then some kind of business topic or your business name. If your business name doesn't have anything about, what your business is, then certainly, you can put in a business topic there. So I might have FAQs, massage therapy, Blue Jay therapy, or it might just be FAQs, Blue Jay therapy without that in there. I mean, you can use FAQs or you can use frequently asked questions, and that might just be the business name. So this page is an opportunity to write out all the questions that a potential client asks you. And certainly on an online store, this can be incredibly useful, can save a lot of time from people ringing and trying to find out the same information over and over again. Same on a service website, there might be some specific things that are questions that that people ask all the time. So you want to make sure those are on the FAQ page. And it really serves two purposes, because it helps to answer all the objections that potential clients might have, and therefore they're going to feel comfortable to contact the business. Sometimes they don't want to contact you, ask a whole stack of questions. If you already answer all their objections, then then they'll go, yeah, okay, cool, I'll contact you. The second thing is that the questions and answers may come up in the Google Knowledge Graph info box, which then brings lots of traffic to your website. So the Google Knowledge Graph info box looks something like this. So you've probably seen them. So you might put in a search like, what timber is best for a deck in humid weather? And then it comes up with this Knowledge Graph info box. So that's my phone ringing. Just going to put that on silent. Okay, so if you live in a humid climate, and then it goes through a whole stack of information there on the different types of timber, and it's, what the best timber for decking. So that's the kind of thing that can come up in a Google info box search. And so if you're putting in questions and you've got a good answer, then sometimes it will actually bring up, often it's blogs or pages, but sometimes it does just bring up questions that's been answered really well on a Q&A page. So what questions could you put on there? Maybe you're not sure what questions people are even asking in your industry. And so that's where Answer the Public is a really great site to be able to use for that. So if I type in a word like decks into this program, Answer the Public, then it brings up the results for decks, and you can see that there's loads of questions there that people are asking to do with decks. So it might be things like, can decks be painted? Can decks hold hot tubs? Why are decks wooden? All kinds of things that people are asking there. Now you'll also notice in this particular one that there was questions related to decks of cards, which are completely irrelevant to a deck building business. So in that case, you might want to type in timber decks or pool decks into the Answer the Public, and then you're going to get questions that are far more specific to those kind of potentially products or services on your website. Okay, so the services page, obviously this is relevant only to the local business. The services would drop down from the services tab on the navigation. So you have your services tab, and then these are all the services that are drop downs. Now, depending on how your business is structured, the Decks page might be an actual link to the home page on your website, or it might be, or you might not have any links to your home page in these. They might just be links to all the specific service pages. Now, this services tab, so the actual tab that's in the navigation, could just be a placeholder, so that if they click on it, it actually takes them nowhere. Or the services tab could link to a summary page that has each service listed. So it would be like a summary of each of these services that would then link to the relevant page. Now, this service page gets very little traffic, again, because people rarely search for services like deck services. Like they just don't do it. And occasionally there's something where people will search for a particular service from a specific industry, but in general they don't. In general, what they're looking for is the actual service, and they will search for deck roofing in their location, shutters in their location, windows in their location. So the services page itself is not usually a very useful page for SEO. But it could be useful to people who are already on the website and want to see all the services that you provide in one page. So just say somebody actually landed on the home page of your website. So they've come to your website and they can see the navigation here. They're on this page and they're like, oh, I want to check out like all of your services. And then they might go and click on this services page that gives them a summary of all the services. It's my phone ringing again, so I'm going to cut that out. Okay, so the shop page. Again, the shop page may be a list of categories, or it may be a page with all your products. It really depends on how many products that you actually have on your site. So you may have 10 products or less. And so then you would probably just have a shop page with all the products, and you may not even have any product categories at all. Or you might have hundreds of products. And so the shop page may be a list of categories, and then you may also have a drop down with all the categories listed. So for example, you might have the shop page and then a whole variety of categories that drop down from that. Okay, so the next thing is the blog page. So in week 2, we covered a little bit on blog posts. And then I decided that it was probably better to go and put this information back into that section. So in week 2, I'm now going to go over to week 2 and run through that for you again, because I've just hugely expanded on it. So if you go into the document, Business Bounce Back, or if you're in the Amazon Kindle version of it, and then you go to week 2, or actually it's like week 2, and then you go all the way down to the section on new pages and posts, go into the blogs. I'll just remove that so it doesn't take up all that space. So now we're going to look at blogs. So in some industries, a blog can be very effective for SEO. In others, it's more helpful for social media and then indirectly helps SEO. So if you've got WordPress, that has like blog capability as a standard, but in some CMSs, you need to add in extra blog capability. So firstly, you want to actually know whether having a blog is even useful on your website. In the majority of cases, it is, but it won't always be useful if you're just trying to get traffic from SEO. So when I talk about blogs in this section, I'm always talking about writing these on your website. So it's not on anyone else's website. And when I say share a blog on social media, I'm talking about taking the URL of the blog from your website. So a URL like this. What did I do? A URL like this, and then copying and pasting it into the section on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or some other social media where you can write something about it and then share it. So it's going to look like this. So you copy that link, you put it in there, and then you write something about it, and then you post it onto your social media. I'm not talking about where you actually write a whole blog post in the post on your social media. I'm talking about taking the link from your website, putting it in here, and then just writing something simple about it. I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people get very confused about that. Okay, so blogging works in industries where people ask a lot of questions or want a lot of information. I'm going to put SEO blogging. So many local businesses that I work with have little to blog about that's actually going to help their SEO. And so you can rank very well in Google with little to no blog posts in some industries. Now, I just want to put that there because it really is important. If nobody else in your industry is doing blog posts, then you can rank incredibly well without having blog posts, because some industries there just isn't anything that they can write about from an SEO perspective that's going to help bring any traffic to their website. And we really need to be focusing all our SEO effort on their homepage and their service pages or their product pages. But there's other industries where blog posts are essential to help your rankings. Everybody else in your industry is doing blog posts. There's so much traffic that you can get from blog posts that can help you to have a booming business that is sometimes essential. So I'll just go through some examples. And we did actually cover this before in week 2, but very good for endless SEO blogging, health, finance, beauty, pets, all the ones here. Good, but where you can eventually run out, property renovation, trades and services, and very limited is usually most business to business and many trades and professional services. Particularly where they just don't even know what questions to ask you. So they're going to search for your business services or products and then just hire you or buy them. Okay. So in order for blogging to help SEO, people need to be searching for the topic. You need to put links in the blog post to your service or product pages, or you can even embed products in the post, which works really well. And you want to share the link to the blog on social media like I showed you above. But what we're going to go through now is how to determine if writing blog posts is good for SEO. And this is something that we didn't cover before. So it all comes down to how many people are searching for information on that specific keyword phrase each month. So I'll use the Google Keyword Planner, which you can go to in the link there. And I also use things like Answer the Public. Answer the Public can help me find questions that I can then use in the Keyword Planner. So I'll put that there, helps me find questions to test in the Keyword Planner tool, because Answer the Public doesn't give you any information about how many people are searching for it. It just tells you things that people are searching for. So a good example is that, so this shows the results in the Keyword Planner for the whole of America. So this is the traffic for the whole of America. You can drill down to a state level, but if we show America-wide or whatever country you're in, country-wide, it gives you an idea of popular questions on relieving back pain. So you can see how to relieve lower back pain, how to get rid of back pain, how to treat sciatica, how to relieve sciatic nerve pain, how to help lower back pain, all have somewhere between 1,000 to 10,000 searches a month. So that's a lot of people who are looking for answers to these questions. So for a chiropractor website, you could write a blog post that talks about all the different ways to treat sciatica, including chiropractic. So it might list 10 ways to treat sciatica, and you might have chiropractic as one of those. Or you could write a blog that was titled like how to relieve sciatic nerve pain, like using that phrase there, with chiropractic adjustments. And so then it's just about chiropractic. So in many health niches, there's loads of questions. So, and there can be hundreds of thousands of people each month that are searching for them. And you or a writer can write whole blog posts, 400, 600 words about and or create videos about them as well. So, that's a really good example of being able to write blog posts where you can get a lot of traffic to your website. And some of these people won't be in your local area. And so if you want to make sure that, I'll put this in as extra. So if you want to make sure that people in your local area are seeing it, rather than just like anyone in America going and reading it and then not being able to actually use your services, you might have how to treat sciatica, might be the SEO title that you're using. And then to make it more specific for your location, you would change the SEO title to, and then it might be Brisbane, Australia. Or Brisbane. I know there's a Brisbane somewhere in America, but I can't remember right now where it is. So you might have Brisbane, whatever country that you're in. And so how this helps is because like how to treat sciatica, if for some reason, there's probably a lot of competition. If for some reason you manage to rank for how to treat sciatica, then you might get a massive traffic from all over the world that really isn't that useful to you. However, if you put how to treat sciatica Brisbane, Australia, what can happen then is that the people who are not in Brisbane, Australia, don't bother clicking on it, because even though it doesn't really matter where you are, your blog post can help anybody. What it helps to do is it helps to remove the people who aren't in Brisbane, Australia from clicking on your site. So they just psychologically kind of go, oh, that's not relevant to me, even though it wouldn't really matter. But then what also happens is that people who are in Brisbane, Australia go, oh gosh, that's highly relevant to me. Another thing that I sometimes do for the SEO title might be, if you didn't need to put the country, sometimes you need to put the country because the location is in a range of different countries. But what you could do is you can put, say, your business name. So you might put, I don't know what your business name is. Maybe it's Thrive Chiropractic Brisbane. But again, that also depends on how long your SEO title is, because you only have a limited amount of space there. So this way you've got the location in there and your business name in there, which can be useful if it's a very short SEO title for a blog post. But sometimes you might have like a really long SEO title. So the SEO title might be something like how to, I don't even know, treat sciatica in your legs after surgery or something, or it's actually more likely before surgery, right? So it might be a super long post like that where you don't really have a lot of space to put a location in there. And so, you know, that just might be something where you just don't bother putting in the location, or you might, if you, I think that would be way too long, but you might be able to put the location in there. But if not, then what you want to do is add the location in the meta description. So I'll put that down there. So SEO title, let's say, if the SEO title is too long to add locations, then you want to add the location in the meta description. So the meta description is that bit that I showed you. Oh, it wasn't on this one, was it? The bit that I showed you, hang on, over here on this one. Up here, meta description. This is the bit where you're putting the information. So in the meta description, you would put, we'll go Thrive Chiropractic in. Now, not everybody reads the meta description, but some people do. So you can have Thrive Chiropractic in Brisbane can help you with managing your sciatica before your surgery, etc., etc. Okay. So that's an example. That's examples of how you can optimize your blog posts and find topics to write about. Now, a bad example of doing an SEO blog post, a bad example of SEO blog post, is in industries where it's difficult to find topics that anyone searches for. So, for instance, in the automatic gate industry, in the whole of America, only 10 people or less for the whole month of it, less a month for the whole of America, oh yeah, who ask specific questions or search for specific info about gates. So therefore, if you're writing a blog post, it can be very ineffective to use someone's SEO budget. If there's only 10 people in the 0 to 10 people in the whole of America searching for automatic gate benefits, then if you write a blog post about that, so, maybe it costs you a couple of $100 to get a blog post written about that, or a lot of your time, and you may never get any traffic to that post ever. It's a complete waste of time. You could put it out on social media, and maybe it'll be worthwhile to get traffic from that way. But then you really want it to be under your social media budget or your PR budget or something like that. You don't really want this to be something that you're doing as part of your SEO budget if you're really specifically trying to get traffic just for directly to your website from people searching in Google. What we can find, and that's what we're going to talk about a bit later on, is that if it's a good enough topic for social media, then you can get indirect SEO traffic. So what are automatic gates? Probably not going to be a great topic for social media either, right? I don't know, but I don't imagine many people are just going to randomly click on something like that. So you want to look at, is it worth your money to be writing blog posts in your industry, or should I really be spending all my money and my time on doing directory listings like we spoke about that are bringing you high-powered votes for your site? So blogging for social media instead of SEO, but it can also help SEO. So if you run out of questions to answer or information to provide that has, any significant number of searches, then you can create blog posts specifically for social media. So you can write about a topic no one searches for, but it's topical and entertaining, and you can put the link into your social posts. And then people then search for you in Google to verify that you are a real business and contact you. So I see this time and time again when my clients get someone to write these kind of posts for them. So we see more traffic from social sites going to their website. Going to their website. And we also get a boost in their SEO traffic. So you can use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn to promote the blog post and help SEO indirectly, as it brings people to your website directly from the link on social media, but it brings people indirectly as well. So an example is that they see a post on Facebook by a company called Prodex Charleston, and then they actually go to Google. So they don't click from Facebook, they go to Google and they search Dex Charleston to see if Prodex comes up and maybe what their other choices are for a deck company. So both of these will indirectly help SEO as long as people stay on your website and don't click straight away. So it needs to be relevant. If you're taking people from social media to a blog post on your website, you want to make sure that everything you've said about it is something that's real and is going to give them the real information that's on that blog post, or else they just click away and that doesn't help. So some other things to consider is that some blog posts work well for SEO and on social media. And this only happens if people search for it in Google and the topic has a wide appeal on social media as well. So a wide appeal is where people search for it in Google and are interested on social media. So an example is Christmas recipes. So you're going to get a lot of traffic from Google in December to do with Christmas recipes, and you're going to get people on social media are going to love it. Anything, Christmas tree biscuits or something like that, reindeer cake. If you have something like how to lose belly fat, then we won't get lost. We'll get lots of Google searches, and that's going to appeal on social media as well. How to lose belly fat, because so many people want to do that, that if they see something on social media, they're likely to click on it. How to maintain a deck. Now, this can get a lot of traffic from Google, and then anyone who follows you on social media, like if you've got, obviously, if you have a decking business, and if they have a deck, then they could be interested in maintaining their deck as well. So anyone thinking of getting a deck might see it on social media and be interested, or anyone who has one might be as well. So these kind of things can have wide appeal. They get traffic from Google and social media, and they're highly effective. Then you can have things that have narrow appeal. So really, they only work for SEO. You can put them out on social media, why not? But you're unlikely to get much interaction from them. So some SEO posts are targeted at a very specific question or information for a very specific issue. Like I said, it might get interaction on social media, but lots of traffic from Google. So an example might be how to relieve sciatic nerve pain. So that's a keyword phrase people will type into Google when they have that issue. So if you've got that issue, you'll want the information, and so you're going to go and read about that. But if you post that on social media and you're a chiropractor, it's only going to be relevant to the people who have that issue. So if only 2% of people who follow you actually have that issue, then you may not get very much interaction to do with that. It's obviously still worth posting it for those 2% of people, I imagine, but the main reason maybe to do a post like this would be to get traffic from SEO. Whereas then you have posts that have like a narrow appeal, so it's really only a social media appeal. So you might have a post that's like meet our new office cat. So this is, maybe you're doing a blog post on your website about meeting our new office cat. And so that's not going to get any direct SEO traffic, because if you create a blog post on your website about your new office cat and all the different, loads of pictures of it sitting in different places or whatever, no one's going to search for that. People don't really search for anything about new stuff or animals. You usually get lots of interaction on social media though. However, no one is going to type that into Google and get taken to that blog post. So blogs about a product that you provide that no one has ever heard of before also won't get any traffic from Google. However, if you put them on social media, then you can promote your product and people may eventually search for it in Google. So those are the things to think about when it comes to a blog. And like I said, I've gone and put all of that information back into week 2. And so this week, which is week 6, we're just going to scroll back down to where we were. Service page. So the blog. So yeah, so if you want information on that, you're going to go back to week 2 if you want the written information. And then the final thing we're going to talk about today is just the contact page. So again, people don't usually search with the word contact, whatever the business name is. Look, they might in a voice search potentially in the future, I suppose. But if they did, it would be to contact something specific. I don't even know what that means myself. They might in a voice search. Let's just get rid of that because I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So the SEO title only needs the word contact and the business name and maybe the locations. So for example, you can have contact Fix Plumbing Texas. So this might actually be your business name, or maybe Fix Plumbing is your business name and Texas is there, because there certainly is more of a chance that people might search for a way to contact your business, if not now, but in the future. So having your location there could be useful. But we covered the Contact Us page in week 3. Had a whole lot of information there about sort of what we really need on the Contact Us page. So you should already have that anyway, but if you want to check again, you can always go back to week 3. Okay, so that's it for this week. A bit of a shorter one, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So that's it for today. If you found this video useful, please like it and share it. Next week's video will appear here if it's ready. And please do ask questions in the video comments, and I'll speak to you again soon.